A question I am often asked, especially by new Dark Crystal fans, is how exactly do the Skeksis stay alive by using the crystal, and what is their relationship to it actually like? For example, how are Skekmal, Skeksa, and Skekgras still living if they are not at the castle and part of the ceremonies? Well, there are 4 aspects of this you need to understand: the Skeksis' lifespan, the Great Conjunctions, the Ceremonies of the Sun, and Gelfling essence. The first and most important piece of this puzzle is that the crystal itself really doesn't currently dictate the lifespan of the Skeksis, it only adds to it. Both the Mystics and the Skeksis actually already have very long lives, enough to last over 1,000 trine. The powers they attain from the crystal and essence are utilized only for expansion and ensured longevity. A good way to look at it is like when someone tells you that smoking will take 7 minutes off of your life. Well, crystal consumption is the reverse of that. It adds time onto their already very long lives. The second aspect are the Great Conjunctions. Now, most tend to believe that these conjunctions are responsible for extending the Skeksis' lives, and to an extent that is true, because the splitting into 2 separate creatures granted them that long life initially. But remember that the first Great Conjunction is when the Urskeks arrived, the second is when they split, and the third is when they return back home again. These Great Conjunctions only provided very powerful and intense rays of light, which they utilized to arrive, attempt to purify their souls, and then depart once again. So as far as we know, they were only used for transformation. How the Skeksis truly thought they extended their lives was through the Ceremonies of the Sun. Ceremonies of the Sun are the third aspect we need to understand, and they were daily rituals led by the Ritual Master, in which the crystal would capture the beams of light created by the sun's lesser conjunctions, and by gazing into the beam, the Skeksis could quite literally feed on that energy, sucking up the life force from the crystal. When transferred to them, that stolen life force became theirs, adding an uncertain amount of time to their already very long lives, and extra energy as well. And some actually still theorize the Ceremonies of the Sun might not have done anything at all, except make them feel younger, and that the ceremonies may have been done purely for ritual purposes. These ceremonies were actually created after the crystal had been cracked, and could not exist without it. One of the crystal's many unique properties was a spiraled connection to Thra and her gravity. This spiral relationship is what caused the crystal to rotate, and that rotation was part of the beating heart of the planet. Upon the fracturing of the crystal, the spiral connection was lost, and that is when the Skeksis discovered a more malevolent energy flowing from the now motionless gem. An energy that would slowly turn the Heart of Thra purple, spread the darkening, and create the ability to perform these ceremonies, draining life from the very essence of the planet. The fourth aspect we need to understand is Gelfling essence. Before the Age of Resistance, the Skeksis and Gelfling held a mostly benevolent relationship. That is, until the crystal began to fail. Tasked with finding a new form of life sustenance, Skektek soon discovered that the crystal could take life from the Gelfling and transform it into a glowing liquid which could be consumed, providing them with both physical and mental rejuvenation. A good way to look at essence is to compare it to the fountain of youth. The water does not add life to your soul, it only invigorates your cells and biology to heal whatever damage aging has done to your body. So it doesn't extend their lives, it just helps them stay as young as they can. Now, your next question will probably be something like, well, then why do all the Skeksis appear to be dying at the beginning of the Dark Crystal? It is important to remember that only Skekso is dying at the beginning of the film, and that is due to his experiments on the darkening, which we will see more of in Age of Resistance Season 2, and it's the reason why he was withering away much faster. But even without the darkening, all of the Skeksis still felt it necessary to try and find a way to rejuvenate themselves, and this was because these creatures were at one point very beautiful, but when age began to deteriorate their bodies, a concept that was foreign to the Urskeks, they became paranoid and searched and discovered ways to keep themselves young. So, with all of this in mind, now we have a better understanding of characters like Skekmal, Skekgra, and Skeksa. Their absence from the crystal doesn't mean there is a plot hole. In fact, these characters are proof that the Skeksis do not need the crystal and have never needed it to live out their given lifespans. It just means that the Skeksis at the castle have been adding more to their lives than the others, but exactly how much, if any, we're not sure. Skekmal doesn't need it due to his physical prowess. Skeksa found her own stress-free life out on the sea, with peace and solitude. And Skekgra probably received the same benefits as the others by consuming Erdroot berries and connecting to Thra through his partner Urgo. And on the opposite side of things, with the Mystics, we have the same situation. The Mystics may have aged, but they were not dying, just living out their very long lives. And because the Skeksis and the Uru are connected, no doubt the crystal's powers were also transferred to them through the Skeksis. But unlike the Skeksis, the Uru fully understood that Thra had only given them a certain amount of time to live, and they respected that. So instead of devising ways to steal it, they accepted their fate, utilizing their time to achieve ultimate wisdom. So, as you all can see, there are several variables and aspects to this situation. Yes, it is a complex pattern, but so is all of Thra. Paths diverge and meet again. Events run on twisted, cyclical lines. Ends and beginnings are all the same. Jim Henson meant this all to be a puzzle that we must figure out. Wisdom to attain that even the Uru would be proud of. Understanding the complexities of this world is part of what makes the Dark Crystal so great. Embrace these elements and try to identify with this world, for it may be the last chance we have to understand our own.